Hello, everyone. Just waiting here for Chris to join. Let's see. All right, let's see. I'm inviting Chris.
Hello, everyone.
Hey.
Hey. Good morning, Nick. Hello, everyone. Morning from San Francisco for me. Femke, where are you right now?
I'm currently in Italy, so different time zone, but we'll make it work.
North of Italy, right? Are you next to Berlin right now?
I'm currently in Perugia, which is like the middle, right in the green heart, they call it, of Italy. So yeah.
Nice.
Very nice. Very different world than SF, obviously, but yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, as nice. Even nicer, I think.
Yeah.
All right, thanks so much. Sorry.
No worries. I was just gonna see how many people have joined so far. We have 14 people. Maybe we should wait like a minute or so before we...
Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
For sure. So thanks so much for joining, everyone. We'll wait a bit before kind of starting to kind of present everything that we have to show you today. If you have like already kind of course, questions ahead of the start, please drop them in the chat. We'll also kind of run a couple polls and questions that we have for you. But yeah, feel free to kind of drop these questions. You have the little question tab on the bottom right that you can use at any time. And we'll be able to kind of tackle them at the end, one by one. Hello, Carlos.
Maybe also good to know that meeting is being recorded. So in case people are not able to make it or you want to rewatch it, we'll make sure to send it to your email. And also maybe good to know that we may use the webinar also for other purposes like social media, etc. Just wanted to let you know in case you want to stay anonymous, let us know. But you'll be in the questions then mainly. So yeah, let's see. I guess we have a small agenda. Good morning from Georgia. So many different countries and people based in different places. That's so cool.
Yeah, it's the beauty of we have so many kind of our customers that are in remote. I don't know. I think it plays a big part.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Yeah, maybe I can go through the agenda real quick of what we want to do today because we only have 1 hour, which is, I mean, it's long, but as you get started with demoing, I'm sure like we will run out of time very quickly. So yeah, in short, what's on the agenda, we're going to give you a very brief introduction to slides. And just also, indeed, like Chris mentioned, we'll ask you some questions because we would love to learn a little bit from you why you're here, and also to make sure that we tailor the demo for you as much as we can. Over some core features of the Slite Agent and the big launch from last week. And yeah, then we have some use cases that we can cover, Q&A at the end with answering all of your questions, and then we'll wrap it up. So that's it in short. Let's see. Maybe good morning. Yeah, do you want to wait a little bit longer, Chris, or do you want to?
No, let's get started. No, yeah. It's recorded. I think maybe we can start with the. I realize that I'm not the live storm magic. Like I'm not able to see. I think the questions or to kind of run the poll. So you will have to do it, Femke.
Yeah. Okay.
But maybe first question, and it can be in the chat, is like who here is already kind of like user of slides, and who is just kind of curious about like maybe implementing it, or just curious about the self-maintaining knowledge.
Yeah, I just dropped the polls in the poll overview. So we have, are you a slide user already? And before seeing the product right now, do you want to maintain it from outside your MCP or inside the app? So just
so that's worth, I think, being kind of introduced a bit more. So the first question, the question is, we have like we are going to show you how to manage your knowledge base. So like the big this is kind of a foundational moment for Slide. Like we really kind of believe that the value of your context is like never before. Literally, like it's the only way you can have like more agentic workflows in your team, and agents working a bit more autonomously with you, having trust. And it's just the moment where your team can finally kind of like tap into your team knowledge in a much easier way. Like it's kind of the first time in history in a way. So our first kind of brick is really to give you the tools to manage your context and put it in self-maintenance. And you have two ways to do that will present. Like you can either use our built-in features, and I'll explain why it's like quite special. But you can also kind of like use it remotely. Like you can call the agent from the outside to ask it to prepare some changes and for humans to review. So you own the logic of like what should be changed. And then like Slide owns like the layer to store this context, but also to have a human approving it or rejecting it. So yeah, on the second question, I'm curious, like if you already projected yourself there, do you kind of like intend to maintain your slides or your documentation in general from the outside, from your own agents and workflows, or from inside our app? You have the poll as well that you.
Yeah, I already got some votes. I got now around 6 votes per poll, so that's quite interesting. Most of the people that are submitting the poll are already users of Slides. We have one non-Slide user so far, and majority is using it inside the app, so Slide built-in agents. But we do have 2 people as well that are using it from outside, so via the MCP or with their own agents. So just for your information, Chris. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm blind. I can't see things. Very well set up. But thanks so much for the answers, guys. Okay, I think, are we good to start, Femke?
Yeah, let's go. Let's and maybe we have another question, but we can also drop them throughout the webinar as well. Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Okay, awesome. So today, thanks again for joining. Please drop your questions at any time in the chat, but at least like in terms of what we prepared. The goal is to present you the new slides. So we launched last week, or we presented last week, Slide as the first self-maintaining knowledge base. For now, we give you some tools to kind of put fully autonomous documents together. We still keep the human in the loop for every change to be approved. Our goal further is to really kind of scale this. We actually already have a couple kind of cool things that we might be able to show you that are a bit more autonomous. But yeah, like that's the goal. So what we want to show you today is the features. Like we have a few kind of key features to showcase. And then we want to kind of show you like real case of applications. So we'll kind of like do a bit of dance between Femke and I to show you 3 things that we think are worth kind of like being looked at. You can use the agent in many ways, but one of them, oh, sorry, like they are like beautiful slides, and I.
It's fine. It's fine. Trying to follow along the story, but I don't need a story or like a slide for it. Yeah.
Well, no, but it's a great context. You're right. Thanks so much. I jumped. You can come back to the slide before, because I think it's such a good context to what we do. So it's kind of the story of Slides. When I started Slide 10 years ago, we started it as, we called it the note-taking app for teams. The goal was nobody was writing or sharing documents anywhere, and we were kind of making it easy by giving teams tools that is fast, that is beautiful to use, that wants that kind of trigger people to come back to centralize and share all team information. And that was already a big thing, is like, like how to make sure that all information is kind of in one place. The second problem that you all have faced, like in the last 20 years working on a computer, is that you write something changes, and then you have some people that are OCD in companies that will kind of like try to hold others accountable. But the reality is that wiki and canonical knowledge is made to drift, and documents stale. And obviously the big problem right now is that when you kind of like tell your clone, look at these documents, and if you start having a support agent that is supposed to kind of either help your agents, your humans doing support, or that are supposed to answer directly to your customers, they will kind of based on wrong information, and they will be very confident saying wrong things. And that's really one kind of like key things about humans, is that we have much more kind of like subtle context, social cues, and so on. And so we have critical thinking. Your agents don't. And it doesn't touch only the teams that are kind of like going full on and having full autonomy on their agents. It's also like teams that assist their teams with agents. Same thing, if your team gets an answer from an agent that is very, very confident, they will kind of probably have less critical thinking. So all this leads us to the need of self-maintaining knowledge. Context is the biggest IP of your team right now. And we kind of like prepare this feature where we look at all the context of your team, not only to give you answers that are exhaustive from everywhere, but we also want to build this self-healing loop. So either like through our native features, or you kind of using our bricks to kind of build your own, to make sure that your context can be fully trustable, which is kind of the dream. So yeah. So yeah, like I think maybe for this part, I will kind of start straight away showing my screen, but this is kind of the stuff that will show you like how to detect changes, prepare like changes, so act on them. And then I guess we probably have, so yeah, like having control. So you still have a human in the loop, and then the search that will show you as well, which is kind of like our historical piece with super, that is now the Slite Agent. I will start straight away sharing my screen. If Google wants, yeah, okay, awesome. All right, awesome. So I am on Slite. So if you don't know Slite, I will kind of like give you a quick walkthrough. So Slite is this beautiful space that is here to hold all your company knowledge. At Art, we are knowledge base. We have a beautiful editor that is extremely simple to use. People really appreciate, like all the powers of our editor features. Yeah, I won't kind of like do a big deep dive, but it's a collaborative, like very fast, very easy to use, and very complete type of environment. Now, since the beginning, our focus has been on knowledge management and making sure that knowledge will remain true. Without AI, our best bet was to work on a verification layer. So every document in Slides can be verified. I don't know, wait, I don't have anything verified here, but let's go to the Help Center. So here we have like actually like a little teaser with the self-maintaining tag, but this document has been verified by Andrew, and it will expire in a couple months. And that has been kind of like the best way we could manage this. Like we have like a full kind of like knowledge management workflow where we can see like all the documents outdated, ranked by like the most viewed in the last month, for instance. So you have like some tools for admins to kind of know what to clean, what to maintain, but obviously it was kind of completely tied to human behavior and kind of willingness to update. We just did our best with what we could do. And that was the best experience in the market for this, but obviously it was not enough. And so, yes, last week we introduced this new feature. So I will start from a kind of like a fresh doc, or maybe even something. Yeah, here it is, like the toolbar and comments kind of product documentation from, for instance, from our Help Center. And you will see that with the agent, have this little agent maintenance button. You also have the agent here. So you can actually ask the agent to do basically anything. But most importantly, you can ask the agent to fact check this document. So this is a one-time thing. We'll let it run. Like you can kind of like keep it running in the background. You can also change it and have a maintenance routine. So for now, we have weekly, monthly. Actually, like we'll probably kind of evolve this menu a lot in the next months. Most importantly, for now, the fact check will be tied to the permission of the doc owner. So you can change the doc owner to somebody else, and this person will receive the changes. So it also means that if you are the knowledge manager, you can actually kind of like generate jobs for your teammates that should control certain documents and that are not on top of it. And unlike a verification kind of expiration, it actually will generate the changes ready to be applied. So that's the agent. Here you can see that we can expand this menu. You can see that the agent knows that it's currently on this document, and that's why I did this. So you can actually kind of like be very explicit in your command. I will show you like a bit more kind of variety of commands right after. But in this one, we actually kind of have like something hidden in this. Like we just put one sentence. In reality, it's a very long set of changes that we prepare that try to detect what is missing in the document, what is wrong in the document, what is outdated. And so here you can see, for instance, that the linked keyboard shortcut docs was archived. So it means that basically at some place in this document here, we had a reference to a document that is now archived. So it's a bad backlink. So, good stuff. Here we can see that we can approve the changes and approve the changes. Okay, so he did that in 2 times. So it basically said like, let's change the checkout or dedicated on keyboard shortcuts and Markdown, because now it's this new document that is a bit more complete. And it replaced the link to this more relevant document. So that's terrific. Very simple, actually, quite internal change. So, like I didn't expect things to be wrong in this document, but, I think I learned something here. So it's nice. Nice surprise. So that's kind of like the first. You can also do these jobs in the background. And I think that's probably like the most important part of the feature. And when this happens, so typically like when you put the documents in self-maintenance, as I was describing, this will run every week. So it runs actually not at precise time, like we try to kind of like split a bit the jobs overnight so that it runs well. But basically in the morning, every week, and I will remove a bit for now for me, you will get like a triage item. So you will have something that happens that will kind of like say, hey, I just, like overnight this document against the rest of your team data. And here is what I found that is now wrong. And same thing, it lands in the document owner inbox. They can look at it, they can see what changes, and they can approve, reject, and of course, they can continue the conversation and adapt. Before I continue, like, is there any question or any kind of a reaction?
I don't see anything coming in yet, but we can also do maybe another poll, because it could be interesting to see, because you kind of touched on a couple of capabilities of the agents. What capability would be most valuable for people here in a call as well? So maybe it's the maintenance of the documents from your own agents, like we discussed before. Maybe it's reviewing and organizing all your documents in slides, maybe creating completely new documents from scratch, or just slides built-in maintenance, like the self-maintaining button. So maybe I could share that one in public so that anyone can drop it there. And I'm also very curious what type of documents people are usually most drawn to fixing or would like to fix. So there's a couple of things here, like onboarding documents is a very common one. I mean, like they get out of date so quickly, and it's so important for us to, like, as a new hire, that your onboarding is up to date, that you can get up to speed as quickly as possible. So that's, I think, a very important one and a very good yeah, a very good example of why the agent is so nice and like the self-maintenance part of the agent is so great. But there's also like help centers, for example, that need to stay up to date, right? With all the, if you have a lot of product updates, you want them to be reflected in your external or internal help center, right? And a couple of more. So feel free to give them a vote in case you're interested. I guess most people are interested in all of them, actually, which is great.
Yeah.
And that makes
yeah, it is hard to pick, right? And at the end of the day, like the team knowledge is the most important knowledge. What I can tell is that what we've seen being kind of the most critical usually is anything that is kind of like tapped by, like entities. It's a bit weird to say that, but entities that are like non kind of like internet. So if you have like an agent, like AI, like looking at some documents and kind of like, like being part of your workflows, that feels very important to kind of update. If you have outside material, like with customers or partner, it can be like public portals or it can be private, but still kind of like for limited partners portal. These are very important. Like in the first kind of calls that we did with our customers, we saw this kind of being detected, like some changes that they will not have like codes that were already kind of indicated in customer facing material. I think that's kind of like the nightmare. Well, and I guess the dream to flag them and change them in one shot.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think questions we can get back to at the end maybe as well. We don't have a bunch right now, but I do see an interesting one. But maybe we first go into some use cases that could be helpful for people to see.
For sure. Maybe one last thing before we go straight to the use cases is search. So if you are a Slite user, the Slite agent not only gives you the ability to kind of clean your documents, but I didn't really show like the magic, like how did we kind of like found the kind of unclarities and so on. The big kind of like underlying piece of the Slite agent are sources. So we connect with 20 plus sources natively, and then you can build your own sources. And I can feel that I have a bad internet here, like some things are not loading. Okay, yeah. Can you hear me okay? Yeah, okay, awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, like you have like 20 plus sources. So these are not MCPs. We will integrate as well MCPs as sources for some services, but those are actually embedded. So we have, by all our benchmark, one of the best company search in the world with what was called Super, and it's not totally part of the Slite package. And for that, we actually kind of index data from the services that you want. Sometimes we fully index, like for instance, your linear ticket, your Jira ticket, we can find, by similar semantic matches. Like if you are kind of looking for a specific topic, we can find everything on this topic. I'll show you like a couple of examples right after. But we also kind of let you kind of connect your code base if you want. So we don't index it, but we can do progressive search inside, which can be very nice if you want to have like your support being able to kind of like find questions, like answer questions like from the source of truth. So yeah, like that's like one of the big strengths of the Slite agent. One thing to note here, but of course, like we'll be happy to kind of like dive into more details with you if you're interested, if you already have Slite but not the agent. This respect permissions for the vast majority of it when we can, basically. Yeah, like there is a reason for which we kind of like index this, like in terms of speed and accuracy. This is the best kind of like product on market. So here we can say, for instance, something like let me know what Femke is working on this week. So like if you don't want to kind of like, I don't want to bother Femke and take another kind of like hour of our precious time just for kind of having like a catch up on our work, I can do these kind of things. This will kind of like mix like all the type of tools, the Slack, the kind of like slides work of Femke. And so I will be able to have like a very kind of like complete overview of our work. So for instance, we have like some social content that you're working on, a very exciting ebook around company brain that I'm very excited about. And here you can see that first, the answer was extremely fast. It's not a guess, like when you use Claude or ChatGPT with MCPs, like it's totally a guess. Like it's just kind of like trying keyword matching and whatever. Like this is extremely accurate. And you can see that every kind of answer is backed by an explanation. You can see like the full list of sources that have been used. In this case, we only looked in Slack in the end. Like you can have like explanation of it. So that's kind of like a mundane, let's say, example. I can also say something like, who can, I don't know, on which plan can user control who can create channels? I don't know. It's I'm just kind of like taking like a kind of like random kind of like questions from support, for instance. This should be kind of like relatively straightforward. So in Slite, you know that you have channels. The right to kind of like prevent people from creating new channels is something that we give our users in previously in the premium plan. And here it is. And then I can actually kind of like push on it. So here you can see why this answer was given. So this comes from actually our public epicenter, which is actually very interesting because it means that it lacks one indication, which is the new pro plan that we just released a couple of days ago. Should indicate this. So if I am to dig into it, I could even say, look in the code base to see if that's accurate. So this will take a bit more time when we look in the code base. Like usually, like it will kind of like try to kind of find in the code base where we kind of like mention this type of features. This is it weirdly feels like a power user feature. I do think that this is the future for a lot of teams to be able to kind of like unlock the access in read-only, obviously, to the code base, and obviously without secrets and like in a secure manner. To the rest of the team, like it really to me like unlocks like it literally gives like a direct access to the truth. The beauty of it, like we'll see like how long it managed to take, but like the beauty of it is that at the end I'll be able to also say, okay, like if something is wrong, like okay, then adapt the channel management accordingly. I will wait for it to run. Okay, I think we'll let it run in background, and maybe we can go to the kind of like more practical use case. But at least you have like the kind of demo of like the core features of Slite. And we are going to kind of start showing you like a few kind of like more specific examples. I think I'll leave you the mic, Femke, for the first one.
Yes, let's go. Let me just share my screen. This one. Okay. So I already sort of started on this one because, I mean, as you've seen, sometimes it takes a little bit longer for the agent to run as well, specifically if you want to create a bunch of things like I'm doing in this very short webinar or a very short demo. So yeah, let's go. One thing first of all, I think it's good to know that the agent, I mean, can do self-maintenance. We've seen that. But I think one, and you can ask it questions, but another very interesting use case that I really like personally from the Slite Agent is that you can start any document from zero because you have all the context from all your company tools, which is super helpful if you're, for example, joining a new company or you're setting up a new team knowledge base with nothing. So what I'm going to do or going to show you here is how to scaffold, in this case, a customer operation doc for a support team from scratch. And it's like so easy that, I mean, like I'll be done in a second with the whole demo, but it's super helpful. I already created a new page inside our product folder, as you can see here. I called it customer operations because we didn't have a good customer operations home base with all of our documentation for the customer operations team. And what I did here is I just added a simple prompt. So you can make it as extensive as you want. You can add a whole template of how you want each page to look like. But basically, the idea is that our slide is already connected to our sources. So Intercom, Slack, Google Drive, and I wanted to help me identify the most common topics, the processes and questions our team, our customer operations team, deals with. And I wanted to structure it into individual docs with each an owner, verified date, etc. So I gave a very simple prompt, and I already run it as said. So this is going to be the result, because otherwise we would have to wait for some minutes, obviously. But yeah, this is it. So what it did is it created all these different pages. I can, like Chris already showed before. I don't know why it's not working. Yeah, okay, well, this one is loading. And it created these completely new docs from scratch based on all the customer or like the data from our company tools. And it created like some guidelines for the team. We have some other pages here as well. I already gave it some instructions on the template or like the layout basically of the page, and you can see it implemented that well. So I included, for example, the do's and don'ts, which it did include, and it's also nice to see that it created this nice little table for me so that I don't have to just transform that myself. You know, it's not just text, but it's also it's coming in different formats, which is great. You can also even create, for example, collections in here. And then, yeah, what I can do now is I can approve them all. Let's just do that first of all. I think this one has a little error because I wasn't able to open it. But let's go ahead for the other ones. So I'm just approving. And I think one thing that we don't have here to be able to set the self-maintenance routine is the owners. So I think I'll have to find the right owners for each doc. So what I can do is I can manually add the owners myself. So for example, I'll go to this doc and then I can say verify doc owner Femke. But I can also ask the agent, obviously, to give it maybe some or find me experts based on this topic. Let's see what it does. I'm very curious. And then hopefully it will give me good results on the nice. Are you looking for experts within your slide workspace? Okay, maybe I could have clarified a little bit. Let me go back to the main doc, find me experts and assign them for each doc. Let's see what it comes up with. And otherwise, my prompt is maybe too simple. Could also be. Let's see.
Yeah, I think it's a good prompt, and I mean, you could be. I think expert is it's always the prime with it. Like expert might be like a internal kind of like expert on each topic or something like that could be clear. But also, I think it's worth noting. Like I would show like something like quite similar. A lot of these features for now, like again, we package them so that you can do the job with your external agents and like with your team and so on. But like the goal is honestly, a lot of these are kind of like very natural automation. Like a good example of it is, for instance, a lot of documents, when you kind of like edit them, you will, or typically like when you edit like a full kind of knowledge base, like you will archive some documents. There are a lot of documents that should be archived in knowledge base. And I think hopefully the Slite Agent will help you take this decision finally. And one big thing that means is that you need to review the backlinks, make sure that they are removed as well, that, like documents that reference this one, like don't reference it anymore. At least not if they should not. And that's the kind of thing that should be built in our agents. And that's the kind of thing, the extra logic that we'll add. So typically like when you kind of like review documents, being able to just kind of like do a very quick check on is this document owned by the right person? And if not, kind of like update it. Is the document a canonical knowledge document and it should be verified, and suggest to kind of verify it or to kind of change the status accordingly. That's something that will do.
For sure. Oh yeah, okay. It gave me some for billing. It gave me Damien as main owner and Angela. I mean, Angela is finance, so that makes a lot of sense. Notion, Antoine, and we have some other suggestions here, which is actually pretty accurate, I would say.
Yeah, and actually, like I think the big upgrade that we'll do to the experience will be on the UX of showing, like here it did a good job like showing like where this answer came from, like why like Dams was the right person because he matched 2 PRs around this topic, for instance. That's something that we have actually a better UX for this, for the search part. Like you saw it before. It's a bit weird like that it doesn't use the same UX, but we'll have like something much clearer like very soon on this front.
Yeah. Yeah, and then lastly, of course, like we want to set the agent maintenance. So we want to add it to maybe a weekly routine and then make it self-maintained, as mentioned here. And then all the updates will come, as Chris already mentioned, in our agent triage. And that's a very simple demo of scaffolding new docs. So you can create anything from scratch. It could be like a launch doc. It could be maybe a playbook for the tone of voice for your company. It could be anything. So I think this is a pretty cool feature of the site.
Yeah, and I think we'll push on it. Like the big thing on the scaffolding of documents for now, it's kind of like it's basically saying like your SOPs and your how-to are often outdated. And if you kind of start from the source of truth, which is basically how your team behaves. So typically if you're in support and you want to have like how-tos and SOPs and support, just how like things happen for real, but nobody takes the time to write them down. I think there is no better way than just analyzing like the activity that your team add in Intercom or add in, like a Zendesk, and maybe in related to like in Slack internally, like in Complement. Yeah, so that's kind of like I believe like it will be a new type of knowledge that will be able to generate more. So I'll go to the second part, which is something a bit more kind of let's say down to earth, which is you already have knowledge. So it can be imported, or it can be that you have knowledge in Slite, but it's outdated. So here we can see like this document was also in 2021. It is developer documentation. I already kind of like started the job, and I made it a bit intense. I said, let's clean this folder. We are going to organize and rename things to be clean, archives what needs to be. So here it has access to the usage number on each document. It has access to how like much it's viewed and how much it's edited. It has access to the backlink, so it knows if like this doc is referenced to. Then make sure the backlinks of this archive piece are removed. For the documentation piece, fact check them. So just kind of like run a review of is this accurate. Then update the owner, then verify once done. So I tried to do a mega job like this. So definitely I had to do it in advance. This is very intense job, but I think it's a good kind of example of what you can do with the agent at scale. So here, like what it kind of like, so we have like one document with, we have like, one subdocs, which is probably outdated. So we have like maybe 8 documents. And so here, like general is not clear. So it suggests to rename it to dev guide, which I completely approve. We have then 6 documents to be archived, some dating from 2018, which is insane. And I think that's very much correct also because anyway, like it's not necessarily I won't kind of go too much in details, but these are very correct. One thing that is worth noting is here you can see this document had a lot of external links which are dead, and actually like it does kind of like web search, so you actually check what's wrong or right. I won't go into all of them, but I think you can feel that a lot of things were old. Here we can see that we had like a pull request merge where we merged library, which is Yarn v4, but we actually document Yarn v2, which is from 5 years ago. So obviously this is not accurate. So it suggests all the right action to be applied. It suggests editions. It suggests changes, like based on how we actually operate internally. So this is a very important part of our process. And it detected just by looking at our tribal knowledge that this is not accurate anymore. It also suggested the verification for specific documents, and it suggested change of owner. So I think it's a good way to kind of like see, like in all its glory, like everything that the Slite Agent can do. And our goal is, of course, to let you, if you are in a spring cleaning run, to be able to do it. But of course, the biggest value, at least in my opinion, the biggest value, or where really you can feel the value, which is quite insane, is when things happen overnight. So either because you have the self-maintenance agent. We also have another run. Actually, you know what? I can show you like something quite internal, which is a love letter from one of our teammates that was sharing this morning. And I think this is a good kind of representation of the value. Like we have here Super that of course got merged to Slite Agent, and Bobby received this notification saying, hey, like in this document we still say Super, but you should say Slite Agent. He didn't ask for anything. We just have like this job running overnight that detects changes of activity inside the team and what should be kind of changed in your documents, and scaling this and making it happen at a much larger scale, so that your team just received the ready to be applied changes, we think is kind of the future. So that's on the kind of cleanup of knowledge. One last demo is how to kind of do it from the outside. So I also run the job right before because I didn't want to wait for Claude. Here, of course, it would. I'm showing this in Claude. If you have the crazy setup, whatever you want, like an OpenClaw, an Hermes server. If you have a ChatGPT, like it will work in all, obviously. I asked it to use like at the last 10 PRs we merged. So I'm not sure if it used, interesting. It used linear actually kind of like for this, which is, why not? Anyway, we don't really care for this. And I asked it to see like for all of this, if something needs to change in our product documentation, our help center, or technical documentation. Now, I will skip you like all the stuff like where it kind of like did a lot of things. Most importantly, you can see here that it generated a URL, like a agent history triage. And here we are. So I opened it already, but you would have like a little badge, a little notification as well. And here you can see that we fixed a bug and it decided, so that's Claude that decided this. It decided to change something in a document to say that find and replace works with regular text, code blocks, title text, and sync embedded type content. So that feels like accurate. Since we are very explicit about listing the type of blocks that find and replace work with, I think it's completely accurate to add this, which follows a bug fix that we shipped in production yesterday. A bug fix / feature, anyway. And I won't kind of like go to the other, but at least like you can understand that if you want to control from the external agent, but you're afraid that your agents might be messing things up, which I think we are all afraid of, you can simply use the agent. So you also have the tools in the MCP, in the API to edit documents straight away, in which case, by the way, I think it's worth noting, you will be able to, I don't know if we will see it directly. Yeah, no, because we just, I will go to a document that I updated, like this one. Here it is. If you have something that is changed remotely, whether in comments, in edit, in the doc history, in Slite, you will see like where it comes from, or at least you will have some clarity that it comes from an agent. So you can edit straight away without kind of like asking for approval if you're very confident in your changes. But if you're touching documentation, and if this is automated, what we hear from a lot of our users is that the last barrier to kind of feel comfortable doing so is that they want some form of approval. The problem of approval is that it's very hard to review when content changes in documents. And that's why we also kind of like built, like this review experience that makes it, actually readable. And that's something that we expose to you. Like that's a brick that you can use. All you need to do is to kind of call the Slite Agent for it to scaffold the changes that you can apply. So that's kind of like the three things. Scaffolding, the new type of knowledge, I think is a very interesting kind of new pattern, and we'll actually push a lot on this. Obviously, cleaning the documents that you already have in Slite, or the documents if you want to import a big chunk of documents, connect a couple sources and say, okay, let's fix everything. That's also something that can be quite amazing. And the last one being like you just want, every time that the pull requests get merged, to trigger a job saying like change this in this document. Every time that or every day, like take all the tickets in support, analyze what needs to change in our internal support handbook, and send it. Every month, look at the deals that we won in sales, and analyze the patterns of what made us win, and update the sales playbook. In all these cases, you still want to have like the technical lead, the support lead, or the sales leader to review the changes and apply them. And that's what we give you with this triage mechanism. Voila. Did we miss anything, Femke?
I don't think so. I think we covered everything. We do have one question already. Maybe we can kind of go over that. It's actually an interesting one. So would it be a good idea to start hosting skills in Slite on auto maintenance?
My opinion, I think you introduced it this way because you know my opinion on the topic. Yes, 100%. And I will kind of like try to show you, like we are actually kind of play on this a lot. So I'm not sure like how much people are kind of like comfortable with skills. Honestly, like at this point between context, skills, memory, agent.md, like the terms are getting very blurry. Like it always kind of speaks about either context, as in like the what the agent needs to know and what it needs to do, or how it needs to operate. The answer to me is yes, for a few reasons. Skills right now are lost in a singular space, in a cloud, in a ChatGPT, in whatever. It's very hard to author. And we need to realize that if you have put agents in production, it probably was in this year, like in the last 5 months. I mean, max, like probably in the last 3 months, really. And so the information is clean, like it's kind of like, it's still accurate. Like in the last 3 months, we have not changed that much. I mean, in our case, we have kind of killed the product and kind of like created a new one. So, it already changed. But for a lot of team, 3 months is probably like similar to where they were. But that won't kind of last. And so the skills, the way to operate that you give to an agent, I think are the most important bit that needs to be clean, because they are the part that are kind of like autonomous. The second thing is that I do think that they should be hosted in a space a bit different, because it's much easier to manipulate. You can actually use MCP to manipulate this, which you can't actually use MCP to manipulate skills in cloud, which is a bit weird, but that's kind of like a shame. And it is kind of like also kind of linked to permissions. Like you can still restrict this, like and well, actually more like you can share them, like very clearly. Like you can say, like only the developers can access this thing or something like that. When it comes to maintenance, here we have like an example of skill, which we use to send to our leads, like the people that book demo. And like we start, but the demo didn't kind of like led to like a great success and so on. But still, we see that the deal is warm and can be interesting, and can really get benefit from Slite. And so what we have is something where we try to get a lot of value for the customer, like typically like the case studies that we run, the ebooks, the marketing material around our topic, because these people are interested in this topic, and we try to package them in a kind of personalized manner. But the problem is that here you can see in this skill that we have like so many things that can go wrong. Like we have like some hard-coded IDs. We have some hard-coded kind of options in our CRM. We have a certain type of persona that might not kind of like be accurate very soon. So the problem of this is that, you know, like you might kind of wake up one day and realize that for 2 weeks, an agent has been sending like emails that are kind of nothing like what you wanted that gets sent. So yes, like I do think we have some technical challenges, I think, to make it as optimized as having skill like presets in Claude. But I do think that it's the future to have them at the same place as the rest of your context.
Okay, nice. That's a very big answer. Great. I have one more question though. We can maybe, let's see. Yeah, in case anyone else has a question, feel free to drop it here because we have like 10 minutes left or something. So, okay, this one is, who can approve agents' proposed changes in a triage queue? Does it require admin access or can any doc owner approve?
So the approval are the same, require the same rights as the user permissions to write on the documents. So it's really the same thing. Like you just delegate like to the agent like your rights. So if you click on approve for changing verification, it means that you would have been able to change the verification. If you change the name, it means that you will be able to change the name. So we really kind of like map permission. So there is no surprise here. But the triage for now is personal. It's sent to one user. And that's actually like one of the big point of kind of a design that we're kind of like thinking about is how do we kind of scale this pattern to have like an entire team kind of getting the dates and getting the suggestions. The big challenge that we have in this is that this is based on our agent sources that are mapping with the permission of the user. And there is a clash between like both, like, you know, like how to make a great multiplayer experience to update a knowledge base, which I do think have incredible value, and respecting permission. So we'll need a form of intermediary model where you say, okay, for these documents, you will only look at this source, and then like, you know, like you can send all the approval in this channel or something like that. It doesn't mean that the person clicking approve, you know, like they will still need the right to the right to write, but the source of data and the collaboration sound like really can be only cracked if we manage that. So yeah, big work for us ahead.
Yeah, for sure. Nice. I guess that was pretty clear. And that were the questions also. I don't know if there's any other questions, but I think we're going towards the end of the webinar. So in case not, or in case you have a question that you still want to ask, you can always ask it later. You can ask it in the Slack community, in our via LinkedIn, or you can respond to the email that we'll be sending after the webinar as well. And yeah, I guess that's it. Like, more to come. Like, we'll also add all the product updates in our webinar or in our newsletter, and also on Slack, obviously. So yeah, in case you want to see more or see how the Slite Agent can work for your personal documentation, you can book a demo with one of the other team members. So I'll also link that in the email, and then I guess that's it. Anything else you want to add, Chris?
No, I'll just kind of like drop the link, of course, to the demo link here. And yes, thanks so much for joining. We'll be sharing this video online. I think like you mentioned it, but yes, like we are going to prepare a lot of material with Femke to show this in all its glory. Like there are like so many things that we can do with the new agent, and it touches two parts, like the search and the kind of like date of documents. So yeah, we'll try to kind of like build a series of videos to really kind of like showcase this. Thanks so much, guys. Have a great evening if you're in Europe. Have a great rest of your day if you're around me. And thanks so much, Femke, for organizing this.
Yeah, thank you, Chris, for joining. Okay, see you guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.